like a wall of tiredness has struck me. I have 5 candidates up for the collective readings who have each donated. You can get information on the thumbnail for the donations. I'm just gonna chit chat for a bit. Wassail, Kathy, well, with you here at least I can begin because you want a reading for your Oversoul. And so that's great. How are you? It's terrible lighting in this room. And I think you can just about see the cards, but I don't know how good. Wassail, Tiffany's Empire, Wassail, Dark Fire Dragon, Wassail, Calica Christ. Not sure how stable the signal is here. It's my little bed behind. Sleeping in a single bed, it's like being a teenager. Oh, and there's a light overhead, as well as one just over here. I think I need a sip of water. So, Wassail, Holy Kunst. Yeah, my birthday's soon. It's exciting. So, calendars of October. So we're gonna begin with Kathy's reading. So Wassail to Kathy and her collective. So I've been sending out energies into the eclipse. Yeah, a lot of Virgos, you see, and the thing is, I kind of know the theme of your reading before it begins, I believe. This is what I was just going to say. I've been reaching out. I know, I always go on about my birthday, Holly. So let's see. I mean, I'm going to suggest there's an energy that's to do with this eclipse. The Virgo Lucifera. You can all Google that. So Virgo Lucifera means the Maiden of Light. And I think it's referring back, just as before we start officially with the cards, I think it's referring back to the old constellation of Virgo when she held, sorry, I burped. It's confirmation. Burping is the truth. When she held onto the scales of Libra and went right through into the sting in the tail. And it's interesting, I'm being shown snakes and ladders now. So I'm gonna make a note and say that at 4 minutes, we began the Kathy Collective. You're not head of the collective because you're all equal within it. That's the thing about oversoul frequencies. So let's just shuffle and see if that really is the energy before we begin this Virgo Lucifera. It's the Maiden of Light. It's the returning, the remembering. I have to turn my phone off because it's pinging. And I'm going to look to see who it is. It's someone who's doing a biofield healing for me. I'll just say I'll reply later. Sorry, I never do that, but hey ho. Let's just begin. Sorry, I'm going to rewrite that at 5 minutes. probably really 3 minutes that you need to go to the Kathy Collective. So can we please reach into the energy? So Oversoul, sorry. I really need to explain. These are higher dimensional collectives. And they're all kind of, let's think of them as a kind of choir. And this particular, each of these choirs sustain sounds from within their dimension through another dimensional portal into this 3D earth. They're not doing it just here, they're doing it in many places and many probabilities within this dimension. So there's like a pain going across this side of my face that I'm feeling, like a sense of look to the now. Yeah, an ensemble. So let's go. So they are the swan transformation. It's house 6, Virgo. So it really is. Yeah, Kathy's Choir Collective. So yeah, arsenic. It's like the energy that's coming through, like this energy of not yet being able to see the truth of the Maiden of Light. Astrea is a goddess of justice, and that's also an energy that Virgo used to embody. So there is a very strong frequency here about a kind of divine intentional, you see, I don't really want to say judgment or justice, but there is that energy within this. It's not really judging, it's about putting the pieces back in order, in alignment for the moment. So let's just get a few more cards and then let me tune into it. That energy's gone now. It was clearly something about we're not able to see this energy. Yes, your oversoul frequencies resonate in this choral ensemble, but all of these energies that are coming through are things that are returning to this space. It's almost like the tunnel, the portal through which this goes is being transformed and cleaned. They're still singing, you're still singing, you're still performing this Virgo Lucifera frequency. It's the chemical wedding. It has a lot to do with divine intention. It's like the marriage that takes place in other physical realms. This is the esoteric part of an intended union. It's interesting union because today is my mum and dad's wedding anniversary. Okay, so we've got 2 up, 2 down. It's almost like that's this energy. So we have the arsenic card, but then we have vitriol. Vitriol is the true inner stone, the divine stone. Not, so I want to say not necessarily the philosopher's stone, but maybe the stone of source. There's something in that. Wassail benvi. So this is Visita Interiora Terra Rectificando I Venis Occultum Lapidum, which means visit Earth's interior to heal and discover the hidden stone. Somehow, you see, I'm not getting this energy of this frequency being trapped there, but this energy it's in another realm, in another dimension, in another cosmic reality, singing this song, this Virgo Lucifera, the Maiden of Light, divine intention. But the door, when this quarantine took place in the earth void, the inner earth void, see, it's the didgeridoo. It's got that frequency. This is almost the space before sound. So the space before sound, it's almost like in the physical, divine intention has to fill a space before life can begin. So there's a frequency of Virgo Lucifera, this choral chord that you're singing, this Maiden of Light, is almost like High Priestess, so divine feminine, Empress, which is emotional feminine. So you need this chord to set up the emotions of life. And then the raw feminine is almost at the door, waiting to come in to transform. That's what's coming through in this energy. So you have no specific notes. That's interesting, because House 6 has no notes, because House 6 is different for all of us, but collectively it is Virgo. And we have the eclipses here right now, and there's something about this energy right now is the beginning of the return of the song. It's almost like you'll hear it's a bit like the sublime chord that I heard yesterday. It's distant, whereas the first time I heard it, I was physically wrapped inside it. So I am lost or I am found. And I think that that has an energy that plays through to anyone in this collective, anyone in this oversoul, is a sense that because that chord is not lost, it's muffled, it's not been able to sing into the heart of the inner earth void, that it can give all of the people in that collective a sense of being lost, disconnected from that interdimensional truth. So the two cards that are face down, ooh. Mars, the War with One. There's an anger and a frustration at the fact that you're missing this oversoul song. So this is C. This is all the cells. This is like the esoteric consciousness that has to penetrate, it's interesting, that has to penetrate the earth void. It has to set up the sound. And because it's been absent, it's like there's been an allowance of chaos has pervaded the earth. And then the second card, see, look, it's coming back. This energy is returning. It's an energy frequency. You see, I want to say divine anger, sacred rage as an alignment frequency. It's almost like all the people that feel a connection to this frequency of Virgo Lucifera need to be slightly angry. To break, to allow the raw feminine, the strength card in tarot, the Kali Ma energy, to almost dissolve this door. There's something about this can happen before the soul fragments. These soul fragments need this song. So maybe part of the frustration in this energy is the soul fragments, the oversoul fragments, that are down there, unable to ring true, Like they're a singing bowl or a bell and you strike them and they ring. The bell's been cracked, or the bell is dry, or the bell is rusty. But this is an energy of magic. It really is. World resonance. World resonance. So maybe during this tunnel with the eclipse on the 21st, which is Kathy's birthday, if you'd all like to send her some greetings. So vain. So yeah, this has got something to do with, look, forget the gendering of men and women, but acknowledge that we are all both. Our divine intention is what we would call the feminine energy. The receptivity that isn't receptive, but is this energy that's got to punch into the 3D world as the mother phallus and be real. This is the energy of the maiden returning the light. So I'm being shown an image of Virgo holding the frond of Urea. And sorry, I'm talking so much, I'm not paying any attention to you. Burning back the fields in preparation, and I'm being shown this as a kind of spring, 13,000 years, summer, 13,000 years, autumn, 13,000 years, and winter. But here's the really interesting thing. They're saying the other way around. It needs to be turned around. We're entering some kind of frequency of preparedness, preparation for transformation. The return of the kind of dark moon Lilith energy, where the divine intention no longer has to apologize for its presence. It's this sort of the notion of Adam and Eve, and that idea that Eve is sinning. Eve did what Eve was meant to do. And so that's this energy where since that point, there's been this coating of our divine intentions, our desires to be clothed in an energy frequency of shame. And that's what Virgo Lucifera is realigning. So let's keep shuffling the runes. Gununga Gap. There couldn't be a more vivid representation of divine intention pouring in to the physical world. So there is a change. The door will break through. It's almost, again, I want to say collectively, any of you who feel any form of being cut out, being squashed, being humiliated, being shamed, align with that divine sacred rage and break the door. Let the tune of this oversoul chorale of Virgo Lucifera burst through. Let that be the new inner resonance of the earth void. Because before that sound was there was silence. And it's that very sound that creates a world worth fighting for, maybe? Standing up for. So you got the Swelgeness. I'm going to put one more card down. Or two. Interesting. So we have Swelgeness and Gare. Gare is the future pantry. And we have ignite. So ignite is almost the physical oversoul. That's tricky. Wrapping itself, fertilizing this collective chorale of the Virgo Lucifera. It's got an energy of the Hiaragamas, the holy divine marriage that takes place within all of us. But we're talking here about an oversoul frequency. This is gonna... So, I had this phrase that's been going through my head. I always talk about the future now. We get into the now, and that allows us to unfold our future. But today, the energy came through of the future past. So this is a frequency of kind of looking back if you need to still. Well, yeah, I think it's part of moving forwards. But you go back and you look at your life and you rewrite it. I don't mean you go around telling people falsehoods. But what I mean is there's something in this energy of the Virgo Lucifera where there's a sense. So if there's something in the world that you may feel uncomfortable with, maybe it's something you have not had, something that has been denied you. And so there's something about the future past, which is as we move towards this return of the Virgo Lucifera life, there is this energy where you won't forget the past you really lived, but you're creating a different kind of past. It's very complicated. I've been playing with the notion today, and it very quickly becomes complicated because you might imagine that you were born somewhere else. So does that mean your parents were not your parents? And I don't know the answers to that. It's all about how you rewrite your past. But there's something in this frequency where at some point it's a little bit like the Your Destiny card, where we are walking on a path to a point that's always fated to arrive. I think we're unlocking a kind of realm hopping that people talk about already, but I don't think it's actually come into alignment yet, and it's coming. So there's something where your future now and your future past meet and take over from the old path of your past. So these are down here. Your old past, your old future that you were imagining runs into a point in time that this Virgo Lucifera justice energy can bring, where you will flip to the new future past and the new future now. You can't have a future. That's always unwritten. And there's something in that energy where it's entirely and utterly up to you how far you stretch the path of your future past. Yeah, me too, Trevor. So I'm gonna shuffle for one more musical alchemy just to end the reading. I'm really hot with that energy. I've got long trousers on as well because it was rainy. I've spent the last 5 days with frozen cold feet, and this evening they just came back online. They're so hot now. I'm so hot. Haumea. It's interesting because Haumea is the Hawaiian goddess of creation. She has this stick, a staff, like a vulva. And with it, she generates timeless, unseasonal harvests We're in an eclipse tunnel. Eclipse tunnels are incredibly wonky when it comes to time. They play with us. They can make things feel fast. They can make things feel slow. So there's something here about the unseasonal harvest of your future past and your future now clashing with your current past and your current now. Let's put it that way. So this collective sings a chord based on love, but it's a lot more complicated. So C and D, F, F sharp and G. I'm just going to give you them just so that you have them. But the main energy is taking all the side notes. So with Earth, because Earth is Virgo, Capricorn and Taurus, we have Denise, remind me in a minute. That's an important energy. It's the opening of mutable earth, and it's a download of your greater self, higher self, whatever you want to call it. And you have these moments where you just go, whoa. Sometimes you walk into walls. So, and then we have and then we have D. Thank you, Holly, because I was just going to say that Merlin and Freya, you're not talking to the right Merlin and Freya there. Because I have a very deep connection to Merlin, and he's not over this at all. I went to see him in Wales the other day, he's still asleep. So yeah, the D seems to be the galactic alignment of this energy with the F sharp. Viola, if you can't be nice, just go away. You don't need to stay here and tell everybody else that they're having a problem. We'll just take you out and not allow you to be here. Thank you, Holly. So, Kathy, how's that for you? I'll put the cards back while you're typing. And I know that Carol is here now, so we can go on to Carol's collective. Cool, I'm glad, Kathy. Thank you. So, Carol, this is a collective Oversoul energy song, possibly. We'll see what comes out. That will tell of a story of you, a part of your Oversoul, merged with other people in this collective and in other collectives all over the multiverse. Whoa, Wassail Eve. Yeah, we don't want any God botherers when we're bothering God ourselves. Oh, interesting. Look, just to end your reading, Kathy, look what's on the bottom. That's exactly the symbol that we were talking about. So I am actually taking sort of timings here. That's okay. We love to see you and thank you for your work, Holly. So we're now at 29:53. So let's do Carol's at 30. Give us a sip of water. Right, so we're going to start with the musical alchemy of astrology. So I'm only doing 4 or 5 this evening. All of the others I will do as separate readings and post them, because I'll be exhausted after 4 or 5. And I want to curl up in that really tiny little narrow bed with that really horrible piece of artwork on the wall. It's blue at least, which is Mercury and Virgo. So, Carol's Collective. Right, so beginning with one card. Carol, look at this. Monas Hieroglyphica. So the energy that's coming through, John D, channeling wizardry. The energy coming through immediately, let's see if it comes through. It's almost like your ensemble choir in another realm and here sings a stability frequency using sacred wisdom to enable individuality. That's interesting. Individuality. I almost want to say it's like your, I don't want to say like the Health and Safety Board. Let's call it, I don't know, but you're like a group, a choir who just comes down, and when someone has achieved the recognition, the tuning, the alignment of their divine individuality as an aspect, somehow then your chord around them changes. It's almost like you're singing a kind of scaffolding that's kind of trying to nudge them and say, look, we'll build this scaffolding around your emotions, around your thoughts, and we'll just keep you completely safe. There's a real safety energy here. So, power balladeers. So what else have we got? Monas Hieroglyphica, as I said earlier, was John D. Monas Hieroglyphica is a kind of symbol that represents somebody, but this is a frequency that represents individuals. Oh. Cinnabar, your core ore. It's almost like you're the temporary conductor, instructor of the youth orchestra of life. So this is an aspect of you in an oversoul energy merged with other people, but it's almost like this frequency of creating personal coding. The coding is in the person. You create the song, the composition that people need to be led by. It's a little bit like piskies, kind of like, come on, dance this way, sing this way. You're trying to nudge and corral individuals to stand in their divinity. Interesting. Cinnabar is very powerful. Cinnabar is where we get Mercury from. Virgo frequency. This is true alchemy. So there is an energy here of planter and gardener. So planter is Ceres, divine feminine, water, emotions planted within people. Not that you planted them. They were planted. They were divinely encoded. But then you garden them. You help them to snip and change and transform. It's that frequency it's kind of Emperor frequency in the physical, but this is really Empress. It's the Empress encouraging the blooming of worthy emotions that will help growth. Interesting. So, sextile. 60 degrees aspect. This is a flirtatious opportunity. And look, it says Romanian folk dance. Doesn't need to be Romanian, but that's how it is on the card, the sarba. It's about this energy of the freedom of early music, the freedom of clacking sticks together, early instruments, drums, this frequency of there's something really, really so sublimely sensual about how your Oversoul collective resonates this song. And then we have Phallus. I'm being shown an image. Phallus always makes me think of centaur bubbles. Centaur bubbles are troubles that are caught in the physical, like a fizz that can be caught in this. It can be like a burp or a hiccup. It can just be thoughts and emotions that just don't serve us properly, that have come up as part of an unintended consequence. And I'm seeing an image of you and your kind of collective here bursting these bubbles, just kind of running around popping them. I've just been told to remind us that this energy is house 12, Pisces, lunar eclipse in Pisces. And the new chord and the new rhythm. So the new rhythm is much more dancey. Interesting, or it could be a spider just pointing out a centaur bubble. I was going to say earlier, I felt a huge discomfort in the root chakra, but not energetically, physically, like a kind of, like the hips are slightly misplaced. Carol, I felt that. So yeah, these centaur bubbles, being aware of them, that's what your Oversoul energy does. It's very aware of the bubbles, and there's a real kind of like, there's something pisky. I know I'm in Cornwall and the piskies are about, but there's something in this frequency where it's almost like the chord you're singing emanates into these physical creatures that are not grounded because they don't belong here, but they pop through. So there's something about that frequency. You know, you belong here, you are earth seeded, you are on this journey, but there's a part of you in other realms, in an Oversoul energy, a merged mind, collective, who have got this, like little tiny fairies, little tiny elementals, like, I almost want to say, like a butterfly, but suddenly the butterfly's actually got a different kind of body and a pin. You see, I want to say proboscis, but a real, like a bee sting. Like you can pop these bubbles. Yeah, so if you want a reading in these groups, you send £40 to either my PayPal or my GoFundMe. The GoFundMe one takes me a bit longer to see that you've paid, and I'm doing some readings tonight, and then I'll spend the next few days while I'm here, because it's meant to be raining, catching up and delivering all these other Oversoul stories, because they absolutely fascinate me. What I love about doing these is it's tuning in to one person in order to connect to an Oversoul collective. It's really lovely. Yeah, popping these bubbles, Carol, with your wasp sting kind of thing. I want to say there's a little bit of the magpie energy coming through in the... You do love a shiny thing. This collective does like things that sparkle, like rain on a puddle, the glistening of the sunlight on water. Anything that has a shimmer to it draws your eye, and it's almost... There's something of like chasing the light. You love to chase the light because it's always somewhere within the light that you can sense the centaur bubble that needs to be popped. Working out new solutions to old resolutions. There's a very creative frequency here. I want to say there's something in this energy which is appreciating the choice of outcomes and doing it anyway. Bop. So let's go into the runes and see what we get. Interesting again, look, we've got this energy. This is almost like this is the needle, the pin that you carry. I feel as though often it is in your tail. You embody, this collective seems to come through small. You focus your energy and it could be a bee sting on a centaur bubble, not necessarily on a person, but sometimes, yeah, it's not big animals. It's not that kind of energy. This is very winged, like insects. Oh, you never are an acupuncturist. You see, I'm a channeler. Wassail there, DA Studios. Yeah, an acupuncturist. Yeah, there's something, and that's this energy of all this kind of flight paths is meridians. That's why you do that work. It's because you're connected to this energy collective. The weavers. The winged weavers, that's what we're going to call you, the winged weavers. So what else can we have, please, for Carol? Are you well, Drew? Ash. Personal Yggdrasil tree. This is what I mean. Didn't we start with this energy here of encouraging individualism? Personal Yggdrasil tree. You are the insects that shimmer and shine and rustle around, pollinating individual personal Yggdrasil trees. You get my link right. Don't send the money to anyone else. So that's just fascinating. And then we have Lagoo. I want you to look at this symbol and this symbol, the personal Yggdrasil tree and the cosmic ocean. are created the same. And this is Carol and her collective poking you, because this card has a playful, low-key energy. If you want to move forwards... Wow, you saw, look, acupuncturist again there, Carol. Do you see that? Drew's just inherited a car from an acupuncturist or through. And you are here. That's exactly it, Carol. All of those, those little cheeky fairies. There is impishness to this. There is playfulness to this. This isn't a kind of... You see, I was going to say, let's go back to the low-key energy. It's trickster. It's joyful trickster, but sometimes, you know, there are certain things that take place in our world, in our lives, where you don't need to lance the boil, but you would. You would regardless, because you know it needs to be cleaned out. So that's fascinating. Oh, just one card fell straight away and I caught it between my legs. Look, it's Un. It's bliss. I'm going to read the poem on this one because this is really beautiful. This is the energy of your Oversoul collective. So, chaffinches pink and chirrup, yawning perfumed blossoms scent the air with clouds of comfort wrapped in wondrous wishes. Perfect pastoral peace until your collective arrives. So it says, perfect pastoral peace passes silently as a white hart, a deer, glances up, nostrils flared, drinking in all the blisses that alignment offers. I would say that there's something about the symbol of a white deer that means Carol's collective is near. They're not only with that. I just mean that that's a sure sign, a white hart, H-A-R-T. But Carol, this is the energy of bliss. This is the energy of comfort. Wind weavers. Yes, winged, W-I-N-G-E-D, but wind too, because you're flying through the wind. And there is something very weavy about this. But it's almost like making teeny tiny things, like knitting with acupuncture needles. It would be with single gossamer spider's webs. It's that kind of energy. There's magic in a spider's web. Maybe they're your nemesis and that's why you have to pop the bubbles. Maybe the bubbles come with the spider frequency. It's a different kind of weaving. You need their webs to crochet and knit with. It's really, really beautiful, light-hearted, fun, trickster frequency. So spirit readings, I'll try and fit you in, but if I can't do it tonight, if you send the money, then I'm going to carry on doing more of these for the next few days, and I'll just post them and then you can look at them. So look, this is just the most wonderful energy. Flursa, so this is 13 moons frequency, divine intention. I want to say you're trying to teach in this realm and in other physical realms. Your collective in tiny ways is trying to teach people the oldest sacral cycle, which is the Earth Masion, to be the wizard on Earth. 6760. It's almost like 6713, 7613, 60. It's like 1313 divine energy to create, to crack open all of those cells of DNA. You're reprogramming the individuality inside people. So you're doing a lot of work on the nervous system. I don't know whether that's the case also in your acupuncture, but on your musical alchemy cards, you have no note, no rhythm, because this is a house, the wisdom. You have the new chord, a brand new chord. That's what you're trying to encourage in people. 6/8 rhythm. 6/8 rhythms are jigs and all those kind of folk song dances. And then here with Follis you have the nervous system. So I'm just going to give you the B flat, A sharp of the nervous system. There's a pulsing boom, 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 boom. I want to say there's something about the mundane rhythms of life that don't match the dancing jollity, joviality of your oversoul truth. Your oversoul truth desires so much fun. I'm kind of seeing, you know, like when people throw stones at the sea and they get them to bounce. I almost want to say that's you in your pisky, magic, trickster energy. It skims the surface of emotions until it finds a centaur bubble to pop and relieve. Almost this symbol is like the centaur bubble being pierced, being burst. So that's your reading, Carol. So next up is Denise. I don't know whether Yamagoat's here. And there's also Elena. If Elena's here, maybe someone could let me know. But we're going to go on to the beautiful, wonderful Denise. It's a pleasure, Carol. Thank you for your donation. It will get me a better room than this one. Oh, I'm really hot again. These are really... It's got so much temperature in them. So I'm going to have another sip of water. I'm going to run out of water before the night's through. Trying not to drink tap water like I did at the last place. I think it made me a bit chemically toxic. Whereas this just tastes of minerals and I love it. I know for most people they say water's just water, but it isn't. So, Denise. That's interesting. I picked up this deck first. The runes, the Liffruma runes. If you like the Liffruma runes, you can buy them at liffruma.com. They are amazing. Oh, I'm so hot. Oh. Oh. Okay, so yeah, it feels like it really does. So I just want to show you very quickly. We have newer, which is Divine Blueprints. We have Egel Shamir, which is ancestral and cosmic protection, and we have Kanatha, which is blood scented. And the immediate energy as the cards all fell to the floor was being like blueprint designers, but that's not quite what I mean. It's almost like being clerks, but it's more than that. Archivists. Maybe it's like a form of psychic archivists. It's almost, so your collective, you design, you organize, it's almost like, it's like, you know when you have to call in a notary to create a will, this is like being the notaries for life, for an individual's physical existence in different realms. 'Cause it's not just this earth. All of these oversoul energies work in different realms and cosmosies. And then you both sent the cells through which the blood will channel, but you also correct an archive. The unintentional correct pathways that are wrong. Oh, you see, what I'm trying to avoid is saying mistakes. They're not mistakes, but they're not. It's, look, you know when you write this program, your collective, when it writes soul contracts for people, roots and options, when you write these energies, it could be a beautifully straight pathway to the divine. But the point is, we've just come from the divine. You're stepping away from divinity to explore and rediscover divinity. So these are like little markers. And you collect the markers because they're data. Are you a data collector? Divine data? But you're collecting them so that so that you can create ever more difficult soul journeys for people. Oh, I didn't write a timestamp down when I began, Denise. This is why I usually have moderators. It was 52, so I'm going to say 53-ish when I began. It could have been 54. I can check. No, it's not that. I just get so involved in the messages that I'm really rubbish at writing down timestamps. And for a long time, there's been people around who do it. That's the link for the Liffruma cards. They're beautiful. Look at those. 78 rune cards. That's all right. I'm not expecting you to do it, Eve. You see, look, it's really interesting. I'm getting a lot of energy of chatter. And what do I mean by that? I mean, this is a very busy collective. There's so much to discuss. It's not like trying to sustain pathways. This is about the thrill, and it's almost like crossword puzzle setting. That's what it feels like. Not that I've ever set a crossword, But what I mean is you're creating, you're trying to create, I don't want to say ever harder, but there is an energy of that, because during the last 26,000 years, these pathways have had to become more and more complicated to break free of the mundane. But there's also something now about this collective is creating easier. It's almost like you have to go back into the files to the golden age of Saturn, because you're trying to create new pathways for the... I mean, look, Generation Z are an interesting bunch. They're not like the people that have been here before. This collective energy you have has been redesigning the blueprints for their futures. And so there's been something of a new thrill within this collective. You see, look, distill, house 3, local environments. You've been transforming, you've been extruding impurities. Psychological immune systems have become... It's also, there's a sense here I'm picking up of, for the last couple of 100 years, there's been, well, longer, but I mean, recently, there's been a ramping up of being overly emotional, because you've got to break that cycle. And now the new cycle is somehow more mental, less emotionally manipulated. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. There's more diversion signs. You don't need to go down that path. There is a simpler route. So there's a simplifying of the blueprints. But, you know, lots of us are still carrying the early ones that Denise made hard. Even on herself. That's the interesting part of it. Pulverize. Look, and filter. So look, you've got here distill, pulverize, and filter. I don't know whether I want to say the emotional pains. This is about hurts, and hurts are usually emotional. So this energy, this song, the tune that you're singing, oh, it's the lullaby for disquiet, see? The complicated song. I had something about that, but did I write it down? Okay, the lullaby for the Yggdrasil forest. You are, I called you psychic archivist earlier. You're like cosmic arborists. So your collective is like a series, a group, who work in the Yggdrasil forest with all the personal Yggdrasil trees. And I was shown, it's like you clear back the old. There are these great, tall, old ancestral trees that have been growing, and they support all kinds of creatures that can only live in the deadwood. And there are moments when some fall because someone's corrected their line, but then your group would rush in and protect the emerging new Yggdrasil trees that are growing in the space where the old was. That's what's coming through here. The lullaby for disquiet. Yes, there's a noise as a huge ancient lineage dies back. I also want to say there have been moments in history, in other realms, not necessarily here, but maybe here too, where it's been like this energy. Again, that was like in the Virgo Lucifera energy, the clearing back, the burning back of dead wood, the clearing out, the replanting. There is this cosmic gardener, and it's an arborist. And I was thinking when it first came through how we call them tree surgeons. And that just doesn't sound like you're really looking after the tree. It's just like you're gung-ho with a chainsaw. And that's not the energy here. This is trees die, trees fall. But there are times, so I'm being shown moments where new trees are growing, and it's almost like you lift these saplings, these seedlings out, and you plant them so that you can burn back the dead wood, turn that and till that soot into the soil as nutrients for the saplings that then get returned. So a really deep connection with the natural plant world, not just here, but in other dimensions. Oh, look, and then that's exactly what you do. You're the editors. You edit, you save. This is about being knowledgeable, thoughtful. Air is a tarot suit of swords, the plough going in, turning over the soil. Yeah, exactly. Really, really earthy, but through air. And it's interesting because we always talk about air and fire, but this is air and earth. Because the point of wind as it goes through the trees is to strengthen the growth of the tree. And that's the editing process. When you edit something, your oversoul frequency is the wind blowing through the trees, the strengthening energy. But you also garden. That's what I'm getting. You're cosmic gardeners. So let's see what else wants to come. Ah, interesting, Denise. So you got Feo. And Feo is the first rune. And it talks about things from beyond the veil, screaming to have physical existence. It's almost like you plant the esoteric streams, the esoteric dreams, the esoteric personal Yggdrasils that will be lineages. But I'm also seeing this energy where the wind, as it blows the strength into the growth of the philosophical willfulness, maybe, that wants to be physical. It's almost the wind chafing the knowledge that creates the bark of reality. And it's very wind chimey. Oh, hang on. Gentle wind chimes. I could hear that. blowing on the wind, hanging from the tree. It's almost like, I'm also seeing this energy. These gardeners, you almost, because I said you were writing blueprints, but how you do this is not like a contract. You're almost decorating a tree with prayers and notions, but you're working somehow with, yeah, I want to say talking to the trees, but these cosmic trees, but you're actually talking to the burgeoning soul that is about to enter a physical realm, and you're encouraging them to tell you dreams that they wish to experience, things that they will need to grow strong to do. It's almost like, it's like a dry run before being birthed. It's what's coming through. It's really interesting, Denise. Oh, hang on, Denise, didn't I do your last reading on that tree covered in moss? Like the moss is almost like this representation of the divine actioning. And this is this is to be actioned in many ways. It's really interesting. Look, Denise is going to be a grandmother. See? Big, tall lineage. There's something about this where we think of personal Yggdrasil trees, but I almost feel like sometimes they're branches off ancestral trees, and that it's the acorns or the seeds that are created in the fruits that fall, then become the individual original blueprint. It's like we have to, I'm not saying leave our family, but step outside of step outside of the ancestral echoes and become something closer to your original blueprint, because that's what's contained within your seed when it falls. So let's just get one more rune. Yeah, somehow it does feel like another branch of the tree. And then once it, even like when you're a child and then you move away from home, that's when your seed falls. And to begin with, it's got to rot to get into the soil. So that's all those kind of stagnant labyrinth fears that come into us. And not always. Some people, when they're children, can just have the most blissful moments. So actually you've got 3 cards. You've got life force with Yo. So the life force of you, I don't mean you the collective, you the individual who created the blueprint with the Yggdrasil Cosmic Gardeners, the collective, have to seek your destiny. They can only garden the trees. And when you fall, you will grow, and they will pick up and cherish and protect the seedlings, the saplings, as they begin to grow, and they will look after them. And when there's space in the forest for that tree to really grow in its own blueprinted divinity, they will put you back into the soil and nurse you. What a beautiful collective that is. That was really, really gorgeous, Denise. So, is Yamgoat here or Elena? Is Yamgoat or Elena here? I'm going to assume not. So, I'm going to say I've done 3, and it might be easier. It's a pleasure, Denise, always. I might do the rest of them that have come through then, beginning tomorrow, because get a ringing in my right ear now, like it's saying to me, enough, tuning in to the eclipse tunnel magic. Just putting all the cards back. So, any questions, beautiful people? Also, it'd be better light tomorrow, daylight. Any questions, beautiful people? That's my PayPal address if you want to send me donations. It's really lovely eating. And booking rooms to stay in. So I found a series, there's barrow fields here. There was once a big circle arrangement of burial sites, mounds, until in the 18th century some farmer dug them all up and used the stones. But there are 3 left, and that's where I found one of the new monoliths. So I'd like to take us to the new monoliths. And I am here until Sunday. You're fully full. I'm fully full, but I'm hungry. I always get hungry after channeling. So, Kathy, Carol, and Denise, I'm really glad to have done your collective readings. Oh, thank you, Rainy J. God. Yeah, it's a bit, could do with a lick of paint in here. It's very, very old-fashioned. But it doesn't have a sloping wall that I'm banging my head on all the time. And it's interesting how things change, just so that we can understand how life can change for us. When I came to this very hotel, maybe 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I don't know. I stayed here, and when I went down to breakfast, I was horrified because it was just a room full of decrepitude and blue rinses. And it was just the strangest energy of being amongst the nearly dead. And now when I come to this hotel, they're not here anymore, that generation of people. I'm not saying they're dead, they just don't come anymore. And so this is much more now a town of stags and hen parties. Weddings, we're back to weddings. It's my mum and dad's wedding anniversary. So there's a lot more of a youthful guest here. That and maybe some business things. But what's interesting is because it's kind of stags and hens parties and they're very, very drunk people, they don't serve breakfast anymore because none of them come down that early in the morning. So I have my coffee grinder so I can make myself some coffee. So any more questions? Any more questions? Yeah, I mean, I'll try and do some other lives. I enjoy doing lives. Today I got a little bit kind of not anxious, but like buzzy, because I know that these Oversoul Collective frequencies are going to be really interesting stories. And it is quite exhausting tuning into them and seeing them because they require a lot of explanation, but I just love them. Gina Lala Bridgerton is wobbly-doo. Gina Lala Bridgerton is wobbly-doo. 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 I have no idea where that came from. I mean, I know Denise wrote wobbly. So I'm going to go because this will have to stay plugged in until lunchtime, because for some reason when you do a live, it takes YouTube 14 hours to accept it. You'll be able to watch it straight away, but my iPad won't do anything until that's finished processing, and it takes about 14 hours. So beautiful, beautiful people. Hopefully I'll post the next ones, which will be Yam Goat and Elena, and then I'll go online and look at who else has booked ones, and I'll start doing those, and we'll get them all done. I'm excited. Yeah, me too. I've gone from both. For yesterday and for a few days before that, frozen. My feet were like blocks of ice. Today, I'm on fire. Yeah, listen, totally. This is the really interesting thing that I was trying to explain about the Oversoul frequencies. We belong to so many. There are aspects of us in all different ones. It's like if you imagine I come into the orchestra and I'm rehearsing the flutes. But then there's a really important part where I'm needing flutes and harp. It's this multiple instrument thing where a flautist will become part of the harp collective. There's this movement around in different dimensional realities. This is just an energy that clearly allowed us to tap into your reason why you're an acupuncturist, it would seem, is because you have an oversoul that inserts needles. Oh, listen, Creative Crow, me too. My feet, when I was in Wales, had a moment where I woke up one day and I was like, oh my God, I've got Cinderella's soft feet suddenly. And then a couple of days ago, I think it began in St. Just, they just had red lines, shapes, welts, like some form of really toxic diabetes. And I can't work out, I got myself a new pair of flip-flops because I was beginning to think I had a like synthetic or rubber. Oh, hello, Hermit in the Woods. Yeah, maybe we're getting Cornish feet. But yeah, I began to think I had an allergy to my rubber flip-flops. Or now I'm thinking it might just be any artificial fabrics, anything with polyesters. So I need really to get myself some new cream, because I also bought a lovely cream, Cornish cream, that had tea tree in it, and that was enraging my feet, and I think that was sunflower oil. It's fine on the top of my head and on my skin, but my feet don't like it. Yes, that's really interesting as well, because Pisces rules the feet. Oh, now it's making me think of when I was in Bel Herculana, which is in Romania, where I heard the chord. Yes, where are you though in Cornwall? I heard the chord, but I'd had a what do I want to say? A sulfur spring came straight out, hot water, sulfurous hot water, and I sang that water, and a day later my feet had all swollen and they looked like a cartoonist had drawn them. But there's a similar energy going on here with the lunar eclipse, Pisces, feet, ruling the feet. Didn't I say something in one of the readings about walking, that intentional stepping out? Cetraben. I have to go and have a look for that. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking part of the energy is this Pisces solar eclipse. My feet have gone incredibly dry as well. They've lost their softness. don't have soft feet at all. But I'm working on it. I'm visualizing perfect, beautiful feet. Okay, that's interesting, Trevor, because I have a friend who's just had a very similar thing. She just walked into a space where she works, and she just walked in, and as she walked in, she couldn't listen to anything or anyone. She walked straight back out and went home to bed. Yeah, cucumber. Rather than eat cucumbers, I wonder whether I should buy a cucumber, slice it up, and wrap my feet in it. Wassail, Nikki McClarendon. Unfortunately, Nikki, we're just ending. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I think that I was talking as well about all these organic automatons. As we're shifting, as the energy of the Virgo eclipse tunnel has opened, it's mutable earth. And as it stretches open, it's almost like you're physically present because you're walking the tunnel, but almost like everyone else outside the tunnel, because they're all in their own tunnels, there's a lot of organobots, like organic robots. Waters in marshmallow take with yarrow. You mean the proper marshmallow plant? Excuse me, I'm burping again. Yeah, watch the playback. There'll be more of them, Nikki. I haven't finished doing them all. I only did 3. But now I'm tired. So, before I go, I'm just going to split both decks. Just to give us all a little thought. Interesting, Brom. Brom is knee holly. It's the butcher's broom. It's scrubbing away of the old blooded stains. Yeah, do you know what? I don't sleep at all. Well, I do, but I wake every 2 hours at the moment. And the other day, I slept at one point for 5. And it was gorgeous. So, Brom, sweeping away the old stains. That's very much this Virgo, this lunar eclipse in Pisces. See, that's exactly it. As we're sweeping away, Aries, this is the raw feminine disruptor. That's what's going on. As we're trying to clean everything up, it's almost like, it's like washing the windows so that you can see through the Janus Geminis, all the organic robots. And then a bus goes by and just puts more dirty water all over the windows. The chaotic creatrix. Controlled fury. Now that was in the reading for Kathy, with the energy of opening the door. Yeah, are you in Penzance? Sorry, you might not want to say. That's interesting, Denise, because I do wake up. But I never used to. I once slept through a burglary where they smashed the windows beneath my bedroom, the French doors in, with a hammer. And they didn't hear anything. I didn't hear the alarms going off or anything. I was a kid, a young guy, but dead to the world. So yeah, this energy, Eris, sweeping in. Oh, look. I was looking at the number 558 and thinking, why are you making me look at the numbers? It's 5252. 77. Interesting. This is about being ordered. I am ordered or I am chaotic. It's bringing order to things. No, you don't have to tell anyone anything, Trevor. You have to do what suits you. You know, you don't need to feel obliged to say to people you're a gorgeous group. They know that. Yeah, I did just pull bronze, scrubbing routine, ocean cleaning. Yeah, I need to go in the ocean because I need a salt scrub. I only got a tiny shower again. And with my shoulders, I have trouble turning round in all these showers. So, they were made for really thin people of the 1950s. I'm going to say, Wassail, beautiful people. So have a beautiful evening. Yeah, Denise, it's a really weird thing. They go through phases. My eyes. They go through phases where they're like dark blue, and they've always got dark blue around the edge. But sometimes they go really, really pale. They do change colour, and people say it's the light around, but I actually think it's me. I just think we have different energies at different points. Yeah, they were really, I noticed it in the reading with the orange shirt and the grey black background. They were really pale blue, really clear. And sometimes I think that that's when there's good channeling going on. I'm not saying when they're dark I'm rubbish. Maybe they are. Maybe it's the energy of a Blu-ray. Maybe we have blue eyes. I don't know. There was a time when I was in Greece on the Bat bus. It was like Batgirl's bus. It was all decorated in purple net curtains to keep the sun out. And my eyes were such a strange colour, I didn't recognise myself. So, I shall be back with more of these tomorrow. Wassail, drawing momentum. I'll be back tomorrow with some more of these collective oversoul frequencies. Yeah, aquamarine's my favourite colour. Aqua ray is my truth, if I'm honest. It's aquafaria. Aquafaria is, I want to say, the realm that is the threshold point between the esoteric and the physical. It's the moment before we step into the physical, and that is aquafaria. And I remember being there. See you next time. So thank you all so much for tuning in, watching, chatting, and donating to get these collective readings. So, whilst I fire up my Duke and Julie V. So, wassail everyone.